Okay, let's talk about something you see literally every single day, but probably don't think much about. Punctuation. We're going to uncover how these tiny little marks on the page are actually secret superheroes. I'm serious. They hold the power to change meaning, organize your thoughts, and yeah, even save a life. So let's start with that one, because it's a big claim. How can a tiny mark possibly save a life?
I know. It sounds super dramatic. Can a little dot with a tail really be a matter of life and death? Well, there's a classic example that proves it absolutely can.
And there it is. Look at the left. That's a pretty horrifying suggestion, right? Now look at the right. A friendly, loving invitation to dinner. The only thing that changed? That one life-saving comma. This shows us that punctuation isn't just about boring old rules, it's all about making things clear. So let's break down some of its key powers, starting with the comma itself.
First up, we've got the comma in its most common job, as the organizer. This is its power to take a whole jumble of items and just line them up perfectly, making everything way easier to understand.
So what's its main job? Well, at its core, the comma is a gentle separator. When you've got a list of things, it just steps right in to make sure each one gets its own little space, keeping it all nice and tidy for the reader.
And our source material here puts it really simply. A comma is basically your best friend when you're separating things in a list. Let's see exactly what that looks like in action.
Here's a perfect example. Just imagine trying to read that without the commas. Apple seeds grapes. It would just be one big confusing mess. The commas neatly break up each food, making the sentence totally clean and something you can understand in a split second.
And it's the exact same thing here. You get a really clear inventory of what's in that pencil case. Punctuation takes all that potential chaos and just turns it into order. But commas do a lot more than just organize. Let's check out their next superpower.
The comma's second superpower is all about being the director. It doesn't just put words in order, it directs the whole flow and rhythm of a sentence. It tells you, the reader, when to speed up and, maybe more importantly, when to just take a little breath.
Our source text explains that the comma is basically a signal. It's a visual cue that says, hey, take a quick pause right here. And that little break helps separate different ideas inside the same sentence, making them so much easier to digest.
You can almost feel it when you read this sentence, right? You naturally pause at that comma. It creates this tiny little moment of separation between two ideas, liking swimming and loving ice skating. That pause actually gives the second part of the sentence way more impact.
And look at how it works here. The comma after with a shake sets that opening phrase apart from the main event. It's directing you to pause, which creates a really clear cause and effect. First, the shake, then the dog is dry. That whole little story is directed by one tiny comma. Okay, now for the juicy stuff. Not all commas are so straightforward. There's one in particular that sparks a surprising amount of debate. It's known as the serial comma, or for those in the know, the Oxford comma.
Our source material even gives us this big watch out warning about it. This is the comma that you sometimes see before the word and at the very end of a list. Some people are diehard fans of it, and other people just leave it out completely. This side-by-side makes it perfectly clear. The sentence on the left is totally fine, but the one on the right uses that Oxford comma. Now, some people will argue it adds some much-needed clarity, especially in really complicated lists. But you know what the most important thing is? Our source nails it. Just pick a side and be consistent.
All right, we've given the comma a lot of time in the spotlight. Let's bring another powerful piece of punctuation onto the stage, the colon. If the comma is the organizer, then the colon is definitely the announcer. It's the mark that tells you, get ready, something important is about to be revealed.
Its main job is actually beautifully simple. A colon is a signal that what's coming next is a list or maybe an explanation of what you just read. Think of it like a formal introduction.
See how that works? The first part, I love the following foods, builds a little anticipation. Then the colon steps in and basically says, and here they are, before laying out the whole list. It's so elegant and super clear.
We see the exact same pattern here. A statement is made, there are 3 friends, and then the colon delivers the payoff, officially introducing who those friends are. It's just a really direct and effective tool.
And let's do one more for good measure. You have the setup. We are going to need. Then, the colon steps right in to announce exactly what's required. It's just a simple, powerful way to structure your information.
So, it's pretty clear that these little marks are way more than just grammatical rules we have to follow. They're precision tools. They shape meaning and bring real clarity to our ideas. We've seen the comma organize and direct, and the colon announce. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If one little comma can save grandma, what other secrets are hiding in all the periods, semicolons, and question marks we use every single day? Now that is definitely something worth thinking about.